Welcome everybody to Chris 6 News at noon. Obviously a stormy day over South Texas. The big stuff that came through this morning is now out over the Gulf waters, so we do have a little bit of a break, but you'll notice the cloud deck is all the way up to the mountains of northern Mexico. So right about here is probably where the next development will occur, and that'll be later this afternoon. That line will probably affect us sometime overnight. So in the short term, we're looking for a little bit of a quieter afternoon, but lots of moisture out there, and any additional rain that we get, well, you can imagine it's going to cause some flash flooding. So let's stay on guard through the night and into tomorrow with all this weather that's going to be occurring. We'll talk about your weekend as well, because it is Mother's Day, and we'll have more on that coming up in just a moment. Mike, we'll toss it over to you.
All right, thank you, Mac. That storm he mentioned, the bullseye, was, well, pretty much the south side of town. Take a look at what the rain caused in the area of Airline and SPID. Commuters trying to get to work had to navigate through streets that looked a lot like rivers. That downpour began to cause street flooding around 5 a.m. and bad driving conditions then continued through much of rush hour. A neighborhood in the area of Argonne and Paul Jones was typical of what a lot of folks woke up to this morning. Deep standing water was everywhere. In fact, here about a half block was underwater. Well, the surf was definitely up along the island this morning. Red flags were up all along J.P. Luby Beach, and that of course means rough surf and that it's best just to stay out of the water. In some areas, the water was all the way up to the dunes. And just getting to the island was a chore. Side roads were underwater. In fact, the Stripes store there along Park Road 22 looked a bit like an island. It was surrounded by high water on both nearby roads. Well, you don't want to get caught driving in heavy rain like what we had this morning. In fact, this is about as close as you want to get to a situation like that. Yeah, that's dash camera video that was shot by a crew with the Nueces County Emergency Services District 2. Now, this was over at Waldron Road and SPID around 5 this morning. The worst part of the storm was hitting, and sure enough, some vehicles there ended up getting stalled. 2 of those drivers did get a helping hand, or maybe we should say a helping push, from a couple of ESD2 firefighters. They got to put on their bunker gear and help push those flooded vehicles to safety.